Good morning, everybody. It's Jesse Ziegler.
And Quinn Cody.
I did that backwards on video, but that's cool.
That's all right.
That's how we like to do things on day 3 of the Dakar Rally. This is the Dakar Rally Daily Show brought to you by Climb Technical Riding Gear and our buddies over at KTM today.
Yes.
Very fortuitous of them to be our sponsor today because KTM got the stage win.
Yes, they did.
It's almost like the riders are paying attention to our podcast. And they're like, hey, guys, today's Husqvarna, so we got to get Luciano up there to win. Or today's KTM, let's get Kevin up there for the stage win.
Yeah, you know.
They're just trying to make us look good.
And they let me come in a few minutes late for work today, too. So that helps. So everybody go buy a KTM.
Yeah, I'd like to thank KTM for allowing Quinn to come into the studio in the morning and skirt under the radar past the managers. He's creating distractions at work.
Yeah. No, we're recording early. I'm going to make it on time, I promise.
The day today at the Dakar Rally was as crazy as normal. I think a pretty standard set of events happen at Dakar almost every day from here on out as people have problems. Course is unexpectedly hard in places and people drop out and, you know, it's just drama everywhere. And that's kind of why I love it.
Yeah, it is. I was somewhat close with my picks, but Kevin Benavides came in and kind of surprised me. I didn't expect to see him come up. I mean, really, when you look at the start position, it makes sense, but
yeah,
he came in and took the stage win.
He did. He got the stage win after some after some penalties were dished out to some speeders out there because there's a speed limit at this race.
Yes, there's speed limits in certain areas and sensitive areas. There's also a top speed limit of 160 kilometers per hour. I know Skyler yesterday said he was having a hard time with his top speed limiter. That something was off.
Mm-hmm. And how do they limit the top speed on a bike? Give us some insight because I know you've actually worked on that on the KTM side, but I know everybody does a different approach. But how do you build that into a rally bike?
So the factory guys, both I know the factory Honda and the factory KTM are drive-by-wire. So there's no throttle cables, right? It's electronically controlled throttle body. Mm-hmm. And so they're able to do it through the ECU. They have a GPS signal coming into the ECU and basically your ECU is reading the GPS signal. And as it gets close to 160 kilometers per hour, it reduces the torque of the engine and just slows the bike down.
It's not a hard cutoff like a
no, and
it's
that's
not a governor.
Yeah, that's what they were worried about initially. Was it was going to be like a hard cut where the bike just goes boo, mm-hmm. and basically it just feels like you're running out of power.
Is that more of a signal to the rider? Hey, you're approaching this speed limit. You need to like physically back off a little bit, or will it not exceed that speed?
No, the bike won't go any faster.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, maybe if you have a tailwind or something, or a really like sharp downhill really quick, you might be able to accelerate past.
You get gravity on your side.
Yeah. But I mean, I've ridden the bike a lot on the speed limiter, and it just gets there and just kind of sits right there, and no big deal. Really easy to maintain on the KTM at least.
And how long does that take to develop this algorithm that slows the? Is it ignition? Is it fuel? Or is that top secret? You can't tell.
I mean, well, basically what happens is the ECU is reading the speed, and then you're controlling the torque of the engine based on fuel and ignition timing and everything else, and so you can kind of there's different ways to do it. And so they find the most natural feeling way for the rider. And there's a lot of time testing. I mean, the Honda guys have been drive-by-wire for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
Last year was the first year of the KTM being on drive-by-wire.
Okay. Interesting stuff. This is the kind of stuff I geek out about because I don't need a speed limiter. I have one built in.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. 160.
Mine's just a little higher than yours.
Definitely higher than mine. That's no debate there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the top 10 of the speed limiter race. Kevin Benavides took home the win today. Ricky Brabeck came in second on the stage. Great ride for Ricky. His teammate Adrian Van Beveren in third. So Honda, again, 2 in the top 3. That's just, their numbers are really showing well. And not only that, it's not just that they have a lot of people riding, it's just that they're racing a really great race.
Yeah, and Ricky Brabeck finished 1 minute 11 seconds behind Kevin Benavides with a 1 minute penalty.
Yep.
So those two are really close.
They were only 11 seconds apart technically on real time.
Yeah, over a 4 hour and 39-minute stage. So they ended up 11 seconds.
That was a 4 hour sprint.
Yes.
It sounds like that's bananas.
It's a tight race.
Yeah, these are tight races. So I said Adrian in third, and then we have Skylar House, another Honda. So we're talking 3 Hondas in the top 4. He's in 4th place on the stage. Great ride for Skylar today after a few disappointing days on his side.
Yeah, I mean, we said it yesterday at the end of the show. Is like Skylar needs to step up and have a good stage finish, and he was able to slide into 4th today.
Great ride, Skylar. Ross Branch, our favorite smiling guy in his pajama pants in the morning, got 5th today. Another great ride for him. That's why he's still leading the general classifications, which we'll get to in a little bit. Nacho, yesterday's stage winner, came in 6th after leading out today, which seemed really good result because it was a tricky day to lead. Yeah,
he led out and he collected a whole bunch of bonus time. I don't have it right on my screen at the moment, but I know he did collect quite a bit of bonus time there.
I think there was 5+ minutes available today in bonus time, and I know it was split up between a couple guys, but we can get to that.
Yeah, I can pull it up. And actually, he got about 3.5 minutes.
Oh, cool.
Quintanilla got about 4 minutes of bonus time, so he got up front and led quite a bit.
After Nacho, Quintanilla was behind him. So then you have every Honda in the top 7 in the race, which is pretty impressive.
Quintanilla, actually, he was kind of credited the win early on when he first came in. And, they were posting Quintanilla wins the stage, but then he ended up getting a 6 minutes of penalty.
Right. Speeding penalty, we assume. That's what the report I read is that it was speeding penalties for him, Ricky, Ross, and Bradley Cox, at least, were the guys that were attested, or not attested. They were given a speed penalty today.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways that guys can get these speed penalties. One can be it's just a sensitive area in the middle of the stage where there's a really slow speed limit, like
a village or like a town
kilometers.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll reduce the speed to like 35 kilometers per hour in certain areas where they're going through a village
really
or
dangerous.
Archaeological sensitive area, and or there's the top speed one that we spoke about. And Quintanilla got a big one. He got 6 minutes, so
he must have been cooking.
Yeah, that took the stage win away from him, and
ate up all his bonus points too.
Yep.
They basically took his bonus points, and they're like, "We're giving you double that in penalty today." So, but he still had a great finish. I mean, 7th overall, and he was up front in the kind of mix all day too. So these guys aren't chasing from the back necessarily. They're in that nice window, the top 5-ish area where you can make time and still lead and get bonus.
It seems like the way the bonus thing is structured this year is that you need to get them.
Yeah.
I feel like, Kevin won last year without collecting any bonus points, but I don't know, just the way that things are working out, I don't think that thus far you're not going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, and this is where we kind of get to the rest of the KTM group, although Privateer Stefan Svitko is in there in 8th place today. Really great ride by Privateer effort.
Svitko's been on it this year. He's had really a couple of top 10 finishes, and it's impressive.
Yeah, then we have Toby Price in 9th, and then another Privateer, Martin Mishek. So great top 10 result. Pretty exciting. And there's names missing, which we'll get into.
Yes, there are quite a few names missing. One just kind of hovering outside the top 10 is Daniel Sanders. He finished up in 13th.
Right.
And he was about 10 minutes back. And it's interesting to see, I don't know what his struggles were today, if it was navigation, if it was anything. We're having a bit of a struggle getting solid information today, but we've got some good stuff. So
the information today is a little bit slow in part because they're at a marathon bivouac, which means they don't get full assistance, full comfort, full pits, motorhomes, and that kind of stuff. They pulled into a spot at an intersection on the road, basically, where their teams are set up. They have a 2-hour time window when they get there to have their team service their bike. And then they jump on their bike again, head down the road for basically a camp out on their own.
I think after the service, they have to ride another 170 kilometers to the marathon bivouac.
That's a long ride.
Yep. And then they have the stage tomorrow, stage 4, and then they go right into this chrono stage.
Yeah,
sorry,
chrono. It might
frozen.
They might be frozen because they're going to have to be riding so early in the morning.
Sleeping in the desert.
Have some cryotherapy in the morning.
Yeah.
So not an easy bunch of days stacked up here. In fact, I think everybody's a little hung out by how difficult the opening of this race has been for everyone. And we got some insight into what this sort of marathon bivouac situation looks like from our guy Anthony. Plus, we have some quotes dropping in from Anthony from the guys right now that sort of reinforce that.
Yes, we do. We got some good info here.
All right, here's Anthony on the pipe about where he's at right now.
Here we are at the marathon bivouac. We've got a town over here. Group of camels over there in the middle. Super cool landscape. The stage finishes up there. And then this is just the temporary service bivouac. This will all be gone by tonight. And we have some camel yards in the foreground. There'll probably be a camel sale tomorrow. Thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a visual and inside update to complement some of the riders' perspectives. This is the service bivouac. This will all be temporary. Everybody's only allowed to work on their machine for 2 hours. So we have the hero guys tucked in here, the KTM group all here, the Honda boys over there. Beyond that, I think the sort of main talking points from today so far are definitely the Honda boys are riding high. They came in numbers, they came in early. The body language is, really positive. I think they know, as a team, they're in a really good position. KTM, I wouldn't say it's as positive, the vibe. It's not down by any imagination, but I think just from my perspective, it sounds like some of the guys are, trying to take some of these opportunities to come from behind and push not too hard, but, chew into some of those gaps and not let it get too far ahead of them. And maybe that's not working, and it's a little bit frustrating. It sounds like navigation is still really tricky, and it's long stages, so it takes a lot of concentration. I think one thing to keep in mind is it seems like lots of people are getting, a little bit and a lot lost, a lot of the time. And so, the dangers are only really marked when you're on the road book, and the pace of the race so far has been so high. And these guys are, it seems quite often, not even on the track. So, they're pushing hard, and I think the attrition is going to be quite high if this keeps up. But it feels like if you can't keep this pace, you're kind of going to fall out of contention anyways. So I think it's going to be a really interesting next couple of days, especially with that long sand dune chrono stage where, some guys are probably going to want to be sitting back a little bit tomorrow so that they can probably push pretty hard into rest day and chew into some of those gaps. But we'll see. What do I know? In other news, Mason is out there fighting the good fight. I spoke to his father. He is a couple kilometers just before the second refuel, and he might not have compression. It sounds like at this point he might end up putting that bike on his back and walking it in, but we'll know later. We'll see if he makes it in. But yeah, that's the marathon stage bivouac. We'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Thanks, Anthony, for that. We know it's been tough getting in and around. These guys are in these cars chasing their team that they're embedded with for hours and hours all day, and then he just jumps out, talks to motorcycle guys, and sends this to us as anything he can. Upload's been tough, but we really appreciate everything he's sending.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Anthony, and I just got a video from Mason. He just WhatsApped it to me, and looks like he appeared to be at the refueling at kilometer 312 it's dark, but his engine was running.
How much more time does he have from that refueling to get to that marathon bivouac service station? Like
I don't
it's a
know.
lot.
It's a lot. And then he's got another 170 kilometers after that. And as we speak right now, it's 8:13 p.m. in Saudi Arabia.
It's
so
dark. It's getting cold.
We'll see what we can do. We're going to keep an eye on the tracking and hope Mason gets in there. We'll go into a little more detail about this later on.
Yeah. Plus,
he's
still sending us videos from his ride, so who knows what he's going to send us next?
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Stay in the show if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening. Don't leave yet, because Mason's still sending us stuff live.
And we may get some of these videos uploaded from Anthony a little bit later. He's got video interviews of all these guys, but unfortunately, the internet is really bad over there. And
and if we do, I'll just upload them to the Cycle News YouTube as independent videos, and then you guys can still check it out and see what those guys are really doing. I really want to see what that marathon bivouac looks like and how it is. I assume it's like a Baja pit, but I imagine it's a little nicer than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into talking to our top 10 finishers, or some of them that we've got some information from. I think up first we'll run Keve Benavides, the Dakar Rally Stage 3 winner today.
Today is day 3. It was a better day for me. I started really focus on my navigation because yesterday I had some problems. So I think I did a good work. Anyways, it was very, very tough. Very also a long stage. And also was not easy for navigating, because anyway I had some lines in front, but I always have to confirm with my road books. But I am happy with the pace and the speed. I think I did good work, and now we are doing everything for tomorrow. We have now 2 hours to prepare everything in this semi-marathon stage. So we are ready for stage 4. Thank you.
Physically, how do you feel after all this injury? Are you okay after 3 stages with intensity?
I feel good. Was not an easy start, of course, but I think I start to feel more in the rhythm, so I am happy with the feeling of my body and everything.
Can I have a little summary in Spanish, please?
Good stuff from Kevin.
Yeah.
No complaints about his leg.
No. I mean,
I bet it hurts.
I'm sure it hurts. I know it hurts. Those of you that don't know, Kevin broke his leg, I don't know, basically 4 weeks before start of the rally. Flew to Barcelona, got it plated, and he's lined up at the starting line. So tough dude. He's had a rough year with a lot of injuries, and so it's impressive. I had not counted him out, but I wasn't expecting to see him at least this early, kind of clicking off stage wins. So it's good news for the KTM camp, because
they need some good news.
They
a little bit. They need some of this little wave of momentum to flow their way sooner than later, but we're not even close.
It's early.
We're not even close, people. Let's talk to Ricky. He's had a couple great days. Ricky on the American squad, Honda rider. Let's check in with him.
Second place stage finish today.
Second placer.
Sounds like a hard day out there.
Yeah, today was really difficult. This morning caught me off guard. Lost a little bit of time early on, but it's rally and it's only day 3, so we're here at the finish of 3. It's marathon night. It's a different style of marathon. The crew right now is working on the bikes. We have 2 hours here, and then we're gonna hit the highway for 170K. Sleeping in some tents tonight, but we're looking good. After a couple hiccups early on, we woke ourselves up and then rode a little bit better the rest of the day. So looking forward to tomorrow, and then after tomorrow we have another marathon called the Chrono Stage, like the 48-hour 600 Ks of dunes and the empty quarter. So not sure how that's going to be, but anyways, we're looking forward to it. The team is doing good, and we'll keep plugging along.
Sounded like some pretty gnarly dangers out there today.
Yeah, I mean, there's dangers. The whole desert is a danger, but there's a lot of those, a lot of rocks. It's really tricky navigation, and it's one of those rallies where you got to slow way down to make a good time rather than go way fast and blow corners here and there. So yeah, all is good. Nacho and Pablo rode really well today, and tomorrow I think we're up front again. So looking forward to that.
Right on.
Yeah,
Sleep
you.
well.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you think about this strategy, if there is any, today or tomorrow going into that 48-hour chrono stage? Because it's on top of their mind, or it's in the back of their mind at least. How do you predict how do you place yourself to succeed there?
That's a tough one, because traditionally, I mean, it's a lot of dunes, and you don't want to lead into a big section of dunes, right? You don't want to be the guy that's opening, but hey, I mean, with these time bonuses, you get up front, so far it's worked out pretty well that they're collecting these bonuses, but I have a feeling it's going to change when we get into the big dunes, that those time bonuses aren't going to be enough. 4 or 5 minutes of bonus time is not going to be enough from a guy like, Ross Branch or, even Toby Price or Benavides coming from the back.
Yeah.
So we'll see, up until now, we've been on rocky roads and, kind of rough, gnarly desert. So we haven't seen the big sand dunes yet.
Which equal bigger time losses and gains, bigger gaps available in the sand dunes, because it's just easier to follow and not as much advantage can be taken for, keeping guys in your dust and taking risks through sketchy terrain.
Yeah, I mean, the first guy through the dunes always has the worst time. Terrible because job. There's no contrast. You just see sand in front of you, and there's no tracks. Yeah. Once the first guy breaks the surface of the dune and at least makes a line, then there's all of a sudden there's a little bit of contrast. You can see where he breaks. You can see where
he lands,
accelerates, where he's going to land. You can see his tracks on the other side of the dune. It doesn't look just like one continuous blind sand dune, and all of a sudden you ride over it and there's a 12-foot drop.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that's good stuff from Ricky. And I think the theme so far is how difficult the navigation has been. They've all said it, and I think it's good. It's trying to slow things down and make things a little more tricky.
Keeping this race tight. Somebody who's been just crushing it is our boy Ross Branch, and we have a quote from Ross here. Let's hear from Ross after today's stage.
Always smiling, still smiling. Sounds like you had a really good day.
Yeah, it was a rough day. It was really hard. Navigation was super tough, and it was just a battle to find a bit of a flow. But I'm just happy to be here in one piece, and just love being on my bike every day. So having a good time.
You're doing really well in the GC. Was that the plan, to jump out early, or you've just kind of found yourself here and now you're managing it?
Definitely not the plan. It's such a long rally, so general classification doesn't mean too much at the moment. It's just a stepping stone. So obviously it's great to be up there and not losing sight of the lead. But we still got a long rally to go, so we just got to keep it on two wheels.
Right on. Enjoy the sleep in the desert.
Thank you very much.
Only Ross Branch will laugh when you tell him he has to sleep in the desert. He's happy about sleeping in the desert.
He's generally a pretty happy guy.
That's good. That'll keep him sane out there.
Yep, and leading the rally overall.
That'll make you happy too.
Yeah, he's not feeling much pressure, I don't think.
Stage wins, leading the rally. Life's good for Ross Branch.
Yes, it is.
We should all live like Ross. Should be our new motivational t-shirt slogan. Also, Ricky's motivational t-shirt slogan is "The whole desert is a danger."
Yeah, that's the quote of the day.
Quote of the day: "The whole desert is a danger." Speaking of desert people, here's Toby Price. Toby's cracking his way up there to try to get some bonus points, but he's not quite there yet. But he seems to be the most tenacious person in the entire world. So I'm sure he'll be there soon. Let's hear from Toby.
Tell us about your day. What went wrong? What went right?
It was a bit of a crazy stage. So I made one little mistake early. I saw Sam and he had a mechanical issue, so I stopped with him just to make sure he was okay and try to give him anything that he might have needed to fix the problem. And then Skylar caught me in the stones, got by, and then basically was in his dust for a bit. Then from there into the sand, I felt good in the sand and started to push a bit. got back in front of Skylar, but yeah, the boys in front were on the move today, and and then towards the end, Buhler had a crash, so myself and Skylar stopped with him. We were both trying to help him. We called the helicopter, and then just made sure nobody else in that danger kind of got caught out. So all in all, it's been a bit of an up and down crazy day, but we're here in the bivouac. The bike's good. Boys are doing service now. We get a 2-hour window to do all that, and then basically we'll get back on the road this afternoon to our marathon bivouac, and then camp the night and get ready for another day tomorrow. So yeah, all in all, it's been good.
Well, what do you think about this marathon stage very early in the race?
It's good. It's for sure it's a challenge. They're throwing everything at us in these first 3 days. So 400k stages and rocks that we've been riding through. It's definitely pretty tricky with the navigation too. So definitely a big test, and the marathon stage just adds to it. So we'll just got to try and stay fit and healthy and stay there by the end. So we'll see how it all goes.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Sounded like some of the dangers were labeled a bit short, or
no, I think it's really hard to mark a road book. No if, buts or maybes about it, but there's all it takes is you have to be 20 meters off on the other side of the track, on the track that they drove on, and completely change your day. So whether or not we're 10-20 meters to the left or the right of the road that we're meant to be on, it's a bit of a hit and miss, but other than that, the rest of the road book's been good. It's definitely been tricky, and we're trying to stay where we can and stay on two wheels.
Buhler's okay?
Yeah, Buhler's okay. Just hurt his lower back, so we called the helicopter just to be safe, and the bike was in pretty bad way. So even if he was pretty healthy, I think would have been near impossible for him to finish anyway. But he had a pretty sore back, so we better to be safe than sorry. Cool.
Big days. Yeah. He stopped for a lot of people today that are crashing. Fatigue's setting in a little bit and shaking out.
And he mentioned Sam Sunderland stopping for him, and unfortunately Sam went out today with a bike issue. We don't really know what happened yet, but we're digging around to try to get some info on that. And it's too bad for the factory gas rider. He went out early last year, and bummer again.
Bummer again for Sam. Sounds like it was only 11 kilometers into the special stage after his liaison this morning had some bike issue that couldn't resolve. Sat there for, I think, 3 hours or something, just trying to fix it, or waiting for somebody to fix it for him, waiting for somebody to bring him something to fix it.
And it just goes to show, I mean, you can put in all the effort, have all the factory support, do all the testing, and, motorsports is tough, man. It's one little thing goes wrong, and
everything stops.
Big effort.
Also, you heard him talk about Sebastian Buhler crashed pretty hard there towards, the later parts of the stage. He ended up taking a medical evac, or medically dropping out of the race. And good for the guys to stop again. Obviously, if you stop for an injured rider and you have time against you, generally the organization will give you that time back based on how long you were there assisting the rider, because these guys are out there on their own. They're pushing it, and the first person on the scene is one of their competitors. So they're encouraged to stop and help.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the Dakar spirit, and these bikes do have impact sensors on them. So when you crash, the organization generally knows that someone crashed, but it's usually the next rider who pushes the medical button. Yeah. And we saw that on stage one with Ross Branch stopping for Tasha Serena. And then a few other guys, and riders respond to that differently, right? You sit there for 20 minutes, you cool down, and you're like, okay, now I got to restart my race. And some guys are able to kind of put it out of their mind and go flat out and make a bunch of time. And they actually will take advantage of
stopping for people. They'll be like, oh, here's an opportunity for me to regroup, and I'll go faster after this.
20, 30 riders go by and lay down a bunch of tracks. But what it sounds like is happening now is that the navigation is so tricky that you can't just follow.
Right. It's so tricky that the people in front of you are getting caught out making mistakes. And if you're following, you're going to make the same mistakes they are.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's shaking up the general classifications, which we should show really quickly here.
Sure.
The bonuses you can see if you're watching the screen are all the green little dots there. Anything in green is a time bonus, and you can see the top 4 people, like Quinn was saying before, have all gained time bonuses at some point on stages up to this point, including the leader. Ross Branch is still leading the rally. He's got 4 minutes essentially of bonus time given to him and only 1 minute of penalty. So he's got a 3-minute bonus out there, and that's keeping him ahead of Nacho Cornejo in second. But guess how much he's ahead of him? 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So without the bonus time, it's an 11-second gap.
Yeah, I mean, there it is, right?
This is the difference between bonus time and not bonus time.
Yeah, Russ had to lead out, but then you have Nacho behind him, and he's got 8 minutes of bonus time. So it's anybody's guess.
Then there's Ricky Brabeck in third. He's got about a 5-minute gap, so really tight between the top 3, 5 minutes with these bonus times that can be gobbled up in one effort on the bonuses. And then Quintanilla in fourth, Adrian Van Beveren. So we got 4 Hondas in the top 5.
Yeah.
Just an unbelievable performance by the Honda team so far.
Yeah, I mean, they came in with a strong team, and, there was no doubt that they were going to be up there.
Yep. And then 2 KTMs, Kevin and Toby. After that, Daniel Sanders and Luciano stacked up there. So really the main contenders are in the top with the added bonus of Ross Branch just kind of being the spoiler up there, showing everybody what's up. I love it.
Yeah, Ross on the hero. What I see is kind of interesting is back to Kevin, really back to, excuse me, back to Van Beveren in 5th is we have a 20-minute gap.
Right.
And then, Kevin Benavides is there with 20 minutes and 32 seconds, and Toby's 22 minutes back. Mm-hmm. Sanders 24 minutes. So it's a pretty solid gap.
Yeah, the interesting thing might
be early on
how this 5th through 10th bubble, these are 20 to 27 minutes behind.
Mm-hmm.
How that bubble reacts and what that does to the race going forward. That'll be really interesting to see how they shift and move and what they have to do to get into that under 10-minute gap, and how the other guys get affected by losing massive time if they can.
Yeah, I think it's all going to change when we go into the dunes, and it's going to level out a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see if they can overcome that deficit that they've got so early on.
Yeah, I'd also like to shout out Joan Beretta for 20 minutes of penalties. The dude's speeding out there. He's just pinning it. Hopefully it's just speed penalties.
Yeah, Beretta's been around for so long, and he's
like,
can't imagine my ways, still getting penalties, but
he's like, I only got 1 speed. I'm not slowing down for speed limits. Pretty entertaining. A couple more withdrawals we have coming in here. I mean, maybe Mason.
Yeah,
we got some info
talk about this because we're getting into the kind of
the danger
zone here. 3 days in, and we're starting to lose guys.
Yep.
We lost Sam Sunderland to a mechanical. It looks like we lost Jake Argubright to a mechanical.
Yep, we got some.
Jake was on that Red Moto Honda, kind of a test for their new rally kit that they're developing. Mm-hmm. And looks like he only made it 3 days in.
Yep.
It's a bummer, but I mean, that's a risk you take, coming into it to ride a kind of experimental bike.
Yeah.
Sebastian Buhler went out with an injury. We heard about that, kind of a low back injury. And of the top guys, that's all we know right now. Mason is
suspect
at the moment.
Yeah. We saw the footage yesterday of him working on his bike. We actually have some footage of him working on his bike that he just sent us.
He WhatsApped me a video from the dunes yesterday.
And he just sent this to us.
Yeah.
So he's had time today, unfortunately, to communicate with us.
He sent this to me this morning before the start.
Okay, got it.
And he said, they're still working on my bike. And he was basically getting ready to head to the starting line.
This is heartbreaking, but it is what it is.
My oil line blew out right here. So then I cut this line and I put it over that side. I tried to reuse this clamp, but I couldn't get it to fit over. So then I double wire tied it. twice. And now I'm hoping one of the Kove guys will give me some oil or someone. And I don't have the right size to take an oil plug out, so I think I'll just use my knife. Bring it in here, trade it into a water bag. Super bummer. I can't believe this. Super frustrating, obviously, but actually it's not even that frustrating. It's a long rally, and let's just hope I can get some oil in this thing and get going again.
So, yeah, those of you that are watching on YouTube, you saw his bike in the middle of the sand dunes, and he was kind of showing us the oil cooler. Basically, what he had to do was bypass the oil cooler. So he ran from, there's two exit pipes from the side of the engine, and he basically made a loop out of the oil line that he had left and ran it back to itself. So he was bypassing the oil cooler.
Which doesn't make...
Which, I mean, that's a good,
it's a good fix.
Bush mechanic fix. He
Toby
had
Price.
Toby Price style, right? Wire tie and everything else. And then he had to borrow oil from one of his teammates.
But that might have contributed to his engine not making it to the finish too. Well, it was also out of oil for how long?
Yeah,
before that too. So it was a compromised engine thing. So what does Mason have to do if wherever he is now? We know he rolled into the gas check, and it looks like he's, as far as the live tracking map, he's still just kind of stuck out there.
Yeah, so we really don't have a whole lot of details, but he did send me a video of him riding in the dark at kilometer 312. His bike was running.
We'll run that video.
The bike didn't sound super strong, but he was moving. So basically he's at 312, so he's still got a ways to go to get through the stage in the dark. He's the last guy out there.
Is it 100K? Like how much it was 430?
I think it's another 100 some K.
60 miles.
Yep.
To push through this terrain.
And then he's got a road section.
To get drugged down the road, maybe.
Well, he gets into the
marathon
bivouac, the service area. So once he enters that, they got 2 hours to work on his bike, and
get an update from Anthony saying he talked to his dad. They have another engine for him that they're willing to drop in and take another 15-minute penalty. But at this point, who cares? He says it's electrical and engine, but major issues. He's inching forward. They have another engine ready to put in the bike, but it seems like it's getting desperate.
Yes, it's very desperate at this moment. I mean, it's 8:45 p.m. as we speak right now. He's got that 100K could take him another 2 hours or more.
This could be it.
So he's getting in there at 10 o'clock. Then they have a 2-hour service period where they have to change an engine on a bike that, necessarily they don't really know what's wrong with. Then he's got another 170 kilometers to get to the marathon bivouac to go to bed.
Sleep.
So I don't see that happening before 2 o'clock in the morning, him coming in. So if everything works perfect, he gets in, they get his bike running, he gets on the road stage. He's
goes to bed at 3 in the morning.
A rough night.
Or he just doesn't sleep and he just rolls up to the start line.
I messaged him this morning and I said, he sent me the video from yesterday and I said, hey, take it easy today. Get through this marathon stage because
it's brutal.
It's going to be rough, but
he didn't do that.
Mason, he went out and opened the first couple of waypoints in the lead and was hammering down. It looks like
he was leading overall time, general classification early in the stage.
Yeah, about 30K in or 40K in.
Was like a law. Like he had a good lead. Like he kept pushing it up over Branch, who was leading earlier, and then shut down. He did not listen to Quinn's advice.
Mason style. He just went for it. So good on him for giving it everything he's got. But he's got a tough day ahead. So let's wish him the best, and hopefully he can roll out of the starting line, roll into the finish line tonight.
Get some support.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, Quinn, for that update. Speaking of support, we got to give a shout out again to our sponsors, Moto Minded, top of mind here, for sponsoring our Dakar Rally Daily Fantasy Derby game. You can log in at chainslayer.com/Dakar and you can start playing with fake money, take some picks, bet on some riders. You can pick as many places as you want. And you got bragging rights, or, sad rights if it's me, because I'm bad at this. But I got 150th place today. Not my best day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Moto Minded, for that. Also, Giant Loop and Fast Company, High Desert Adventures, Ace up there. Talked to him a little bit this week. He's got some insight coming in later in the race for us. And then also JimmyLewisOffroad.com, where you can get some training, virtual rally training or in-person rally training. You can start learning the ropes. You can also go see him in person if you like that sort of punishment.
Yeah, if you like to be abused. Hey.
Yeah. Quinn still can't figure out how we're getting money out of him. And neither can I. I don't know if we are.
I don't know that this is a money situation. I think this is
just like being nice to Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah.
Also, Tacomoto is back. Tacomoto.co. Taco Mike, he's back in the house helping us out. If you have a dual sport bike, this guy's gonna help you out, or anything with a KTM engine in it at the moment. He's good. He also said he's going to try to get us one of his Get ECU systems as a prize for the Dakar Rally Daily Derby. So you not only can win a gas e-motor bicycle, but you can also win a Get ECU for your dual sport bike. So whatever you ride, we're going to have a prize for you. So get in there, play that. It's free. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to be ashamed by your results. It's all part of life.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, stage 4 is coming up, and it's going to be a rowdy one again. This one is like the precursor that gets you to the 48-hour chrono stage start. So this one is strategic maybe, or just like wing it and get some bonus points and just keep going, because this is a big race.
Yeah, and it's a big day tomorrow. So the total stage is 698 kilometers, so basically 700K. Mm-hmm. They start out in the morning with a 198 kilometer road section just to get to the start of the special. And then a short, as this rally goes so far, 299 kilometer special stage.
It's only 300K. That's nice and easy.
With one refueling in the middle.
And then they have another road section.
Yes, 201 kilometers to the bivouac, where they'll finally get back to their own crew, their service crew, and the top guys will get back to their motorhome.
Yeah.
The marathon guys, the Malimoto guys will get back to their tent.
Same as they have today.
Yeah, no different.
Malimoto guys are like, no big deal.
Yep.
It's a big day on the road.
Yeah, a lot of road. It doesn't look like they're saying dirt track, 6% sand, some dunes, some stony tracks, but I feel like these percentages from the ASO is when the riders come in, it's exactly the opposite of what they're saying.
So it's going to be 90% stony, rocky crap, and 10% sand dunes.
Who knows?
Who knows? But we're excited to check it out. Keep the comments coming. Thank you so much for comments on Instagram posts and YouTube comments. We've got some really good stuff on YouTube. Insight into where people are listening from. One guy said that we were in his hometown. But the race was in his hometown of Al Salamia yesterday. He says, "You're in my hometown." And I don't know how he got to us on YouTube, but I'm pumped that he found us from Saudi Arabia, or he's from Saudi Arabia and he lives somewhere else now.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tomorrow's stage starts in Al Salamia, where their marathon bivouac is tonight. And we get to go to Al
Hafuf.
Okay.
Al Hafuf. Al Salamia to Al Hafuf.
These Saudi names are not as difficult. They're very intimidating, but
we're getting it down.
The pronunciation's pretty simple.
If you were with us 4 years ago when we started this, it was a S show.
Google to
we were
give us the
how do you pronounce Al Salamia? But now we got it down. Thanks to you, our listeners. Thanks to everybody for supporting us. I have got nothing else to talk about Dakar Rally until Mason Klein gets his bike to the finish line.
Yes,
and we don't know when that's going to happen.
Maybe we'll post an update on Instagram later and let you guys know if Mason ever made it in.
Yep. Tune in, Dakar Rally Daily on Instagram, Cycle News YouTube channel. Today's the first issue of Cycle News for 2024. You can get a free subscription, cyclenews.com. Go to magazine. Check it out. It'll be up later tonight. Lots of stuff in there, including Dakar Rally coverage.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
The whole desert is a danger, but